Alright, so we're back with the Denali here, and you can see it's a little more complete, and just got the blow-off valve welded on. I suck at TIG welding. I don't know if it's the machine or if it's me. It's probably me. Typically it's operator error. So I don't know, it's a alpha TIG, and I don't know if it's got too many dip switches and knobs on it, and Michael has one, and he told me to turn the frequency up and then turn the AC balance down, and then typically run about 100. So when this is in the down position, then it cancels this row out and doesn't pulse it. I mean, it's on 2T, it's on the TIG torch, and it's on AC. I've checked all the connections inside the box and made sure it's all set up for aluminum, but I don't know. I was all excited. I wanted to do TIG welding. In college I did pretty good. Of course, we only got to weld a couple coupons together, and I already knew how to weld stick. I've been stick welding since I was like 8 years old, and then MIG, anybody can MIG weld. And so I was all excited when I got to college and actually had a class and was trying to get through the mild steel stuff so I can get to the aluminum. And of course the machine was already set up for the coupons we were welding, and it was a butt weld. And then my first weld, it looked like a stack of dimes. I mean, I was like, man, this is pretty fun, and I was all excited, wanted to get one. And back then machines were very expensive, and not that they've gotten any cheaper, but you do have Chinese knockoffs like this piece. And I'd always read and watched reviews and stuff, and everybody raved over the Alpha TIG, for an affordable entry-level TIG machine. And I've tried all kinds of different kinds of tungstens, diameters, flow, gas flow. I mean, tried turning all these knobs however many different ways. And it's funny because my welding teacher in college was like, these guys come out with all these machines and try to add all these features and knobs and switches, and all it does is complicate them. And he was right. So like I say, what would normally take a skilled TIG welder 30 seconds or a minute to weld all the way around a 3-inch pipe takes me like 4 hours. So anyway, I hate TIG welding, and that's unfortunate because I really wanted to use it to my advantage, to be able to do a lot of this stuff. But I mean, it just looked horrible on there. So I don't know, it's stuck, and I don't think there's any leaks or anything, but I don't know. I guess I need the P word practice or something, but I don't know. There's that thing about impatient something. Anyway, so we got it all together. Basically all I have to do now is I got some hose here. I got to run down to the wastegate to give my reference. Then we got to give our signal reference to the blow-off valve here, and then our fuel pressure, we got to give reference to there. So I don't know if I had the fuel system done last video, but I used his little DSX loopy doopy, got it in, did the -6 crossover in the front, and then it comes out of the back, comes over to the regulator, and then down and into a bulkhead in the hat of the fuel thing. And 3/8 feed, 3/8 should be plenty for what we're trying to do. I typically use stock lines. I've made 700 wheel horsepower on stock feed lines and returns on these trucks. Of course, this one, since it's returnless, I had to run a -6 to the back to have a return path. We got a map sensor in, we got a coolant tank. I gotta mount that. I still got to pull the wires over to our mass airflow, and then I got to pull the file on it, write a bass tune, and then it should run. So fingers crossed. But the grill fit pretty good. I'm happy with it. Everything fit nice and tidy behind it, and it looks pretty good, nice and securely mounted. And this thing should be pretty fun, especially being the all-wheel drive. I'm really excited to see how it does, and hopefully I can get this running in the next few hours or something. And then we got our transmission over here for the Trailblazer. So this one is 1,000 horsepower rated, and don't know who the builder is. Again, customer ventured off and got tired of waiting, for good reason. I mean, I understand, you have all this time and money in a vehicle, and you want to drive it, and you want to experience it. So, I can't blame him. And again, Doug was a very stand-up individual. I would do business with him again. Very nice guy. You couldn't ask for a nicer guy to do business with. I will say, though, it was a lesson learned because, when you have a failure, because anything mechanical will fail and will give you trouble. So when it does fail, serviceman of it, you got to ship it out of state, and then it takes like a week to get to him, and then he's got to get to it, and then a week to get back to you. So there's a lot of time lost in that. So I understand that. And I was asked, why'd you use the guy over there? Well, he seemed like a good guy, which he is, and I wanted to try his transmission. Again, my local builder I've used for over 20 years. He actually went to school with my mom, and me and him just bumped heads too bad, and he's retired now. But I mean, I run stall converters. He's very anti-stall converter. He thinks that if it didn't come in its stock, it doesn't belong in it. He also doesn't know how to use the internet to research and look up how to do like the HD2 kit. And, I don't know. I have no idea what's in this transmission, but it is pretty black, isn't it? If you spray paint them, that makes them high horsepower rated. I mean, look at this, Turbo 350. I mean, this very capable unit there. But, what was I talking about? So, like the HD2 kit, he wouldn't know how to do it, because, well, I mean, I guess he would because it would have instructions and all, but when I had a Mercury Marauder, they're 4R70W, and was talking to him about doing the J mod, which is a very known, popular mod to do to a 4R70. He didn't know how to do it, and then he didn't know how to research it to find out how to do it. So, you've got to keep up with the times because the technology and the stuff with this is ever changing, just like turbo technology. I mean, that's a 1,300 horsepower Jose turbo, and I guarantee you there's something out there that would crush it. I mean, obviously. So the technology on all this stuff is changing so rapidly. I mean, you've got to be able to keep up with it. And then with him, when it failed, if he had been the individual that had built the last transmission that didn't have reverse, he would have made us eat it, all of it. And, we would have had to pay him to rebuild it and, listen to him. It was our fault, it was something we did. I mean, it's just, so I wanted to try something else, and then again, the problem was just with that one was the out of state, that was a big killer with that deal. And my local guy that does them, he's a good guy. I've known him since elementary. He's a year or two older than me. and he builds them under the supervision of another guy that's been building them since the 70s. And and that gentleman, I met him and talked to him, and he didn't know about all the stuff and the HD2 kit and the stuff, the dual feed mod and all that stuff. Because that type of a local builder, they want to build nice stock units behind nice stock small engines so their transmission doesn't tear up. And you say you got a cam and headers to a lot of these local builders, and either they won't do it or there's no guarantee. I mean, when I was in high school, I took my graduation money and I built me a 408 Windsor because I was a Ford guy then, and it was a 408 Windsor, and it tore up within the first few miles. And you know what the people that I got it from told me? Sorry, that tough luck. That's race cars. Welcome to race cars, So I learned pretty quick that, things like that happen. That's on you. There's no warranty in race cars. These engines, transmissions, all this stuff, mechanical, it will fail. You push it to its limits, and it's gonna break. It can't take the abuse over and over and over again. Even the best built transmission eventually is going to tear up. So anyway, we beat that dead horse. But if I get this thing running, well, when I get this thing running in a couple minutes here, after I plug in and run all my reference lines and everything, I got to respring it to probably about 10 pounds. I'd say it would be safe on 10.5 to 1 engine and pump cast. I don't want to go to 15. 15, I think 15 on pump 93 is just too much. I don't see good results from that. And again, you go to a different gas station, you get a different grade of gasoline, and it could be completely different octane than what you had in it on the dyno. That's why I was saying in one of the videos about this that I believe it's Jarrett Faggart. He did the cam. He did a custom cam for me. It was in Clifford, but it wasn't spec for Clifford. But he's a big truck guy that was really a pioneer in a lot of this stuff, and he said that what he would do, or what he does, is run it and then dyno it on 87 octane, get the lowest octane available, dyno it, get it tuned, get it dialed in, and then run premium in it, or whatever the highest grade you have is. Around here we have 93. I realize that other places have 91 or whatever. I don't know if there may be something higher than 93. I don't know, but it's just good practice, and then it gives you like a safety factor by doing it that way. So anyway, something to think about. But this guy runs a lot of how you call it, I found a bottle in his in the back seat when I was getting the parts out, like octane booster and fuel additives. That's what I'm looking for. He runs a lot of fuel additives, because I could tell, because his spark plugs, the inside of the manifolds, like everything was just red. Like red as that wire right there. I mean, it was just the porcelain on the silicone, or the porcelain on the spark plug was just had a real heavy red tint to it and whatnot. So I can tell he runs a lot of fuel treatment in his vehicle. So anyway, just figure I'd give an update on that. Fuel system, so 525 in the tank with a Hydromat. He got the nice big Hydromat, so you just whack the bottom of the bucket off and let the Hydromat sit flat, and use the bucket to spring load and hold the mat to the bottom of the tank, and then just plumb the feed up to the hat and bypass everything in the basket, because we're return style now, so we don't need the regulator, Venturi, or any of the stuff in there. because of the Hydromat and because we're return style. So the Hydromat's a really nice piece. It's crazy that it's $200. You know, it costs more than a 525 fuel pump, but you know, I think it's beneficial because I like to run, you know, my tank below a half a tank, a quarter of a tank, and I'm looking for somewhere to fill up. But a lot of people cut the basket out and put the sock that comes with their 525 in there, and then below, you know, half a tank, they encounter fuel slosh, and then the factory sock can't capture the fuel and provide it to the pump without cavitation. So go on YouTube and look. There's quite a few, you know, demonstrations of how the Hydromat works, and I think it's a really nice piece. So I'll get the fuel pressure set, and then should be good to go on this thing, and try to start. I like to drive around a little bit and, you know, kind of go everything myself before take it to Michael, because I want to try to get all the kinks out of it and make sure it's good, because, you know, that's his time, and I want him to spend as little time on it as possible, and most of the time that never works out because life, but, you know, I'll try. Another thing I forgot to mention on the bottom side is so I did put one O2 in the crossover, and then the other O2 is in the downpipe. So now when I go in HP tuners, you switch the injectors in the file from the bank 1 to bank 2, and then what that does is it allows this to run in closed loop, and then it makes global changes based off of the air-fuel ratio in the downpipe now. And that's how I like to set them up, and that's the way Michael had showed me. I know other people have done it in different ways with splicing wires and all this other stuff, but that seems to be a nice, easy way to do it. And the reason we do the one in the crossover is because sometimes if you just leave it unplugged or something, it just needs to see it in order for it to function properly and go into closed loop. So you know, that'll be nice to have for him cruising and everything, to be able to go in closed loop and allow the ECU to adjust and control the fueling to try to meet our cruise air fuel ratio. So anyway, I'm gonna go set all that up in the tune now, and then finish these couple vacuum hoses and pull the wires for our MAF, and then should be ready for our first fire.